All right, good afternoon. Quick recap on Saturday. I think most of y'all saw it. Some of you were there, unfortunately, probably, but we were soundly beaten by a good Missouri team. I think they were clearly better than us on Saturday, and I can handle losing. I don't like it, but I can handle it. What I'm disappointed, and this is what I kind of hit on after the game, what I'm disappointed about that in that game was a couple things. Our inability to do what we were coached to do and our lack of physicality. Those were the two biggest disappointments for me. Quick recap, I'll hit all three phases. Special teams, negatives first. I felt like on the opening kickoff we had an opportunity to take advantage of the way they lined up, and we hit a poor kick. We were trying to steal possession there. We didn't execute that. It was there. And then we continue to be inconsistent punting the ball. It's not bad. It's just inconsistent. We got to get a little bit more distance and be able to flip some field positions. The positives are they had 0 return yards for the day. The punt returner Missouri has is talented. I think we had 4 fair catches. Then we had an explosive kickoff return, and that's a unit that's really we've blocked well in that unit. We got to continue to do that, but we had an explosive return set up. What could have been an opportunity for points, but we didn't protect very well in the play after it. Defensively, the negatives: 232 yards rushing. We're going to struggle to win any game where we give up that kind of yardage in the rushing. We had 0 takeaways. And then we had 5 missed sacks. We had 5 times where we had Kelly Bryant behind the line of scrimmage. I think 3 of them may have been on third downs. And then we had 22 missed tackles for the game. And most of those happened on those 5 consecutive scoring drives there in the first and second quarter. The positives defensively, we limited their big plays. They had very few of those. I thought our pass coverage was better, maybe as good as it's been over fall camp in the first 2 games. And then I thought our defensive kids really competed hard in the second half, giving up no points, and they played their first unit for a while. And I thought our defensive guys hung in there and played with a much better competitive spirit. Offensively, negatives: 3 interceptions, led directly to 21 points. We had some, I guess our second, third, and fourth drives there offensively were productive drives. All of them were 6+ plays, I think. And two of those 3 ended up in one of them missed field goal, 2 of them was interception, and then Jack's pick 6 there in the fourth quarter. Run game's non-existent. I'm sure I haven't been reading much, but I'm sure you'll talk about that. And then too many negative yardage plays. Our quarterback got hit way too much in the game on Saturday. Positives: we had 0 fumbles. In our third downs, we actually were good on third downs. We had a couple. We had several third down conversions there when we were playing decent offense there in the first and second quarter. So wrap up, just finishing this one up. Again, disappointed in our performance. By no means discouraged in the direction we're going. I think that this is our first real test. This is the first real adversity that this football team's had. And how do we handle it? I think that's the question. How do we handle it? How do we respond? I think this week will be a good indication of where we're at as far as being able to respond to things that don't necessarily go our way. Growth occurs in failure, and we failed on Saturday. And so it's time to get better. Quick injury update, kind of wrapping up the game on Saturday. Taj Austin had surgery this morning. He had torn patella tendon. He will be out for the year. Okay, so unfortunate for him. Thought he was playing well. The block on him was fine. It wasn't what I would deem a dirty play by any means. Just one of those things that happen. So unfortunate for him. He'll be out for the year. We do get Letty Brown back today. He will practice full speed today, and he will be available to go on Saturday. So that's a positive. Turn the page to NC State. Big game for us. They're 2-0. Dave Dorn, I think, has done a great job with that program. He's entering year 7, and you can tell that as you look at their roster, they've got, if you watch them play and you look at their roster, 2 things that stick out to me is they've done a great job recruiting and evaluating. They have quality depth across the board, and they've done a really good job developing guys. So they're a program that I look at as far as how they've recruited and really built that up. They're coming off 2 9-win seasons in a row. They've got the 2nd most wins in the ACC outside of Clemson. That's not talked about much, but the last 2 years, 2nd most wins in the Atlantic Coast Conference. They're well coached. They're disciplined. Kind of touch base on them in the 3 phases. Special teams, solid across the board. Their special teams coordinator was at Marshall, so some of you all may know about the schemes that he ran there. A year ago, we got a freshman long snapper that's really impressive. is probably as good as anybody we'll face all year. From a long snap, and he's a true freshman. He really gets the ball back there, and he's accurate. The kicker's done a nice job. He's been really consistent. They've got a new punter that punted for the first 2 games, and he's done a really good job. Offensively, they're balanced. If you look at them, I think 545 passing, 500 rushing. They're physical up front. They had multiple years in a row with 1,000+ yard rushers. They want to establish the run. They're running back by committee. They've got a freshman that rushed for 100 yards last week. He's their leading rusher. His kid named Knight. I think he's impressive. But again, all 4 of them, they rotate back there, are good-looking players. Quarterback, first-time starter this year at McCabe, and he's accurate. He's a really big kid. I think there's a lot of similarities to the kid we just played, honestly. Good athlete, got a strong arm, can make the throws. He's done a nice job leading them. I think he threw for 300+ yards in his first career start, so that's impressive. Their O-line has depth. They've been really well coached by the current coach and by the guy that was O-line coach there previously. And then they're big tight ends. They use them. They do a nice job of getting them involved vertically in the pass game, in the receivers quality group. Okay, defensively, they haven't given up a touchdown all year. I think they're 1 of 2 teams, maybe them in Wisconsin, that haven't given up a touchdown. They've changed schematically. For a long time, Coach Huxtable there, the defense coordinator, been a 4-down front team. They've changed. They're a 3-down front team now. They're very good on the D-line. 2 guys that really stick out are the Murchison kid and then Smith Williams. And Smith Williams is, they've had a great run of defensive linemen there, and going into the season, and they've really promoted him as being kind of their next guy, and I can see that. He's a really good player. Both those guys are high-end defensive linemen. They've done a really good job through 2 games, create pressure, create negative plays. They've allowed 49 rushing yards in 2 games, 49 rushing yards. So they run well at linebacker, and I think their secondary has been active. A lot of cover 3, and they come down and trigger really hard. So great challenge for us, kind of wrapping this up. Great challenge for us, looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting our team back. I think it's one of the challenges in coaching is bouncing back from when things don't go your way, and that's where we're at. It's our Hall of Fame weekend, and some people that are getting inducted with football ties. Steve Dunlap, great player here. I probably didn't realize he was as good a player. I've known him as a coach and really respecting him for what he's done as a coach, but just researching over the last week or so what kind of player he was, really impressive. And then John Thornton, 10+ years in the NFL, 4-year starter here, Jalen's dad. So big weekend for that family. And then Meg Bulger, I think she worked her first game at JMU and one of the great West Virginia athletic families. Think about this, 3rd Bulger getting inducted to the Hall of Fame. That's pretty remarkable, really. So congrats to that group. And then we've got our annual Gold Rush game. So I encourage our fans, we're gold, we'll wear gold. And then 12:05 kick. So just hope our fans show up early. I hope they don't get too frustrated by last week's outcome. I hope they show up and they're loud. And we need a great home field advantage taking on a quality NC State team. So with that, I'll open up to questions.
You indicated yesterday you may do some juggling in your lineup. You want to expound upon what you're thinking?
Yeah, what we're going to do is we're just going to give a bunch of guys opportunities on Tuesday and Wednesday, and we're going to make those jobs competitive. We've got to figure out who the best 5 are up front. Outside of Colton Kivitz, I'm not real fired up about how any of them are playing. So we're going to give some other guys some opportunities. Bryson Mays, John Hughes, James Committer, those guys are going to get some opportunities up front. At running back, we're going to go and give those other guys. I think Singfield, I thought he ran the ball the best of any of them that played on Saturday. And then we get Letty back, who's a physical guy. That's one thing I don't have to worry about him, because he is physical. And so we're going to do that. We're going to let the young wide receivers have a chance. And Winston Wright and Ali Jennings, they'll play for the first time this week. And then on defense, and Jordan Jefferson will be a guy that we're going to get more involved in what we're doing. So those are some guys just right off the cuff here.
What different presence do you have as an offense with Letty Brown in there as far as physicality goes?
Well, I think he's a tough guy. We lack some toughness right now. That's one of the things I think I talked about, being disappointed with what we were on Saturday. I think that Missouri was way more physical than us, and so he's a tough guy. I like that about him. He's rusty. He hadn't done much football in about 4 weeks. Okay, so but he's kind of looked kind of slowly been getting back to it. Today it'll be his first full speed practice rep. So.
You know, when you have a game that's kind of getting away from like it was in the fourth quarter,
Yep.
you had like two different experiences. I was curious how you handled like Timmons and Sinkfield went in and did, I think it was probably good stuff, right? But Jack comes in and has a mistake there, and they're probably both important parts of what you want to do moving forward, and they're totally different.
Yeah.
To handle it too. How do you?
Yeah. So.
16 treated.
Yeah, I think so. With Timmons did a really good job, which is good pickup by you. He came in and did a really good job. And he earned himself more playing time. All right. And then Sinkfield came in, and honestly, we should have got Sinkfield in the mix earlier. We have not ran the ball well enough. Okay, and the O-line's easy to pick on. Let me tell you something. In the run game, our running backs, our tight ends, and our wide receivers have been every bit the issue as the O-line in the run game. Okay. We have not blocked well. We have not ran the ball hard. We have not been physical on the edge. So that's all involved, okay, with the run game. And then with Jack right there, I wanted to get him in the game. And really, we ran a day one pass play, and he threw an out cut into cover two. And I'm not quitting on him, but you can't do that. That's one of those deals where we're clearly doing something that we're not coached to do. I love the kid. He's still getting reps. But we're not going to reward people for those kind of plays. But he's still right there in the mix.
You mentioned the punt game. What parts of it did you not think you're executing well, and specifically on the roll rugby punt? Are you trying to?
Yeah, we just got to get more distance. Yeah, we got to get more distance on our rugby kicks. We've got to get more hang time when we're directionally punting. You know, I think Josh hit 2 really good punts and 3 that got to be better. You know, and you look at the first week, he hit some that he hit really well, some that he did. And we've got to do a better job getting the ball, getting our cover guys, because that's one thing that we're doing. The strength of our team right now is we're really covering kicks well.
But you want to keep mixing it up,
Oh yeah, we're going to keep people off balance. We're going to be we'll be something different every week punt wise.
Neal, this week you're preparing for a coordinator who recruited the bulk of your defense, knows your offense, lobbied for the job you're in.
Yeah.
How do you deal with a situation?
Yeah. Well, I'd say he knows our personnel. That's the thing. I mean, he does. He knows the personnel. You know, hopefully a lot of these guys have improved. Now some of the personnel that's playing didn't necessarily he never necessarily worked with. But I think Tony's a really good coach. I think he's done a really good job recruiting. I think that's been documented. I think he did a really solid job here. And he does know our personnel. I'm sure this game will be mean a lot to him, being a West Virginia native and coming back. But once the ball snapped, I'm not sure any of it matters, to be honest with you. I think he does have some, there are some influence. He has some influence defensively. Just because they were switching to a 3 down front. He has experience in 3 down front. But I think this game will mean something to him, but once the ball snapped, I'm not sure that it'll have a great deal of effect on either side, on the player side of it.
Do you see any of the stack principles in that at all with their 3 down front?
Yeah, they have a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I think every 3 down team has some stack principles depending on what formation you're in, you know, whether you're in a 2x2 or a 3x1 set. So yeah, I think there are some principles there. I don't think that's what they primarily do.
You know, with Taj out, you still have 2 defensemen who played a good bit, but do you need a third? Who do you think would be the third?
Yeah, so it's going to be a little bit of kind of trials for that this week. We can kind of mix up our fronts and give some different looks, but we feel good with what Pooler and Ruben have both done in there. We've been playing about a third of snaps anyway. One thing we won't be able to do probably moving forward, we play several snaps against James Madison, a few, but several versus James Madison with 2 defensive ends. We probably won't be able to do that moving forward.
Neal, it seemed like when you guys were able to move the ball a little bit Saturday, you were getting the ball to Sam James. What have you seen out of him maybe?
Yeah, Sam James played really well for the first half, and he played really well. He blocked well. He was our best player clearly for the entire first half. He's explosive. I thought he did a good job getting the DB's hands off of him, which is something we've emphasized. And so I think he'll continue to grow. You know, and I was pleased. He didn't play as well against James Madison. He came back in the first half of that game and played really well.
How does NC State defensively compare to Missouri personnel-wise? Is there any similarities there in terms of?
Missouri kind of dabbled. They kind of bounced back and forth, 3 down, 4 down.
Yeah.
I think defensive line-wise, I think I hit on this a little bit at the beginning, is both schools have really done a good job of recruiting and developing defensive line. And if you look across the board, people that play good defensively, I mean, that's what it is, man. You got to have difference makers on defensive line. Missouri had the Elliott kid that completely dominated the line of scrimmage on Saturday. They've got 2, and the nose that NC State plays is capable of being dominant at times as well. So if you look at it, I think both of them have really good personnels. You know, the schematics of it are different, so it's kind of hard to it's not apples to apples.
You mentioned after the game, you said you expect a lot of press man coverage, load the box.
Mhm.
You still expect that this weekend?
You know, it's the press man stuff. It's more just it's not necessarily all press man. It's just one-on-one. Yeah, they're gonna play. People are gonna put us in one-on-one situations until we win. This coaching stuff sometimes is not rocket science. You know what I mean? Until we win some one-on-ones, you know, it's gonna be hard. And I mean that in the run game probably more so in the pass game, because we've won our fair share in the pass game.
TJ didn't get targeted till late in the first half. There, were they doing anything?
TJ Simmons?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just got to play better. You know, you got to play faster. You got to block better. You got to play better. You got to get over.
You know, when you lose a game like that, you know, when you get beat really badly, you gotta walk a fine line, I guess, between, you know, thinking it's the end of the world and also knowing that it isn't the end of the world, you know, that there's other seasons left to play. How do you handle that? How do you approach it?
I think people want truth. You know, so we try to deal with complete honesty here. We had meetings all day yesterday where we basically, you show them the video, man. You can't lie to them. They see it on the video. So you confront them with brutal honesty. You present a plan about how we're going to get better. That's it. You know, and it's over today. You know, we flipped the page yesterday, 5 o'clock or 4:25 or something like that. When we started our NC State, and you move on and you try to work on the things that you know you're going to continue to see until you improve on, and you got to, you know, well I'll tell you, here's the non-negotiables. We're going to play hard, which I thought we did an okay job of that. We're going to do what we're coached to do, which I didn't think we did a very good job of that. We're going to be a tougher football team, which I thought we did a very poor job of that. And we're going to be invested in what we're doing, which I think we've been average at that. And so those are the things that we're really focusing on. We're going to get prepared to play NC State, but the focal point for me is those 4 items I just talked about.